Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're back with another episode, another installment of Synonyms of Sound. It's your host, Dervin.
And your second host, Tony. You
Yeah,
got it
yeah.
right this
We're
time, man. Yes, sir.
uh-huh. And we've got our man Sheed on the call. Sheed, we're talking about a good friend of mine. We recently, built a relationship. This man is uh very, 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 very gifted at what he does. I call him the connector of dots. He's won it in a few countries. Mr. Van Buren, manager, currently manager of a rising, extremely talented group of artists with amazing and I'm sure fruitful personalities that we're going to hear more about. But welcome to the show, my man.
What's up? What's up, gentlemen? I'm glad to be here. I was telling Tony, after we watched the what's the guy with the book
Chris
that you
Rubin.
had? Yeah, Chris Rubin.
Yeah,
And I heard what he said and his story and just the lemons analogy, and it's like artificially made and things like that. It was just like, yeah, he gets it. So, we hung out enough to know that we could chop it up. So, we'll chop it up to the people.
yeah, most def, man, most def. I mean, yo, what's been going on? Like, how has things been? I know things have been moving quite fast with just how I've been observing the growth and the engagement that you guys are getting, especially out in the Brockton area and just greater Boston with VB. But like, I guess how would you put it into words?
Oh man, where do I start? Uh, it's moving fast. It's, you can't even really live like month to month. I guess we're just living day to day because every day is something new. It's always if it's not a call, it's an email. If it's not an email, it's a text. If it's not a text, it's a tweet. If it's not a tweet, it's something. And things are moving progressively for us. It's literally brick by brick. Um, but the conversations with labels, that's what's happening right now. Really, distros, etc. These things take time, um, and we're also entering in the Web3 space. Luke just dropped his first NFT. He did something with his 2-year anniversary project, Good Evil.
Okay.
It went well. We got our foot wet with that space. Felix had his 2-year anniversary with In Bloom Forever. He's also been dropping joints left and right. I ain't get not one ask if he should drop it, but they drop it. So so let's let the people hear it. And that's the great part about it, man. They're their own entity. So if they want to drop, bro. I'll promote. So but yeah, everyone right now is working on their solo projects. Um, but there's also a VB something in the works. But yeah, we're just working. Honestly, that's just what's been going on. It's just work.
So I had a question. I know you just talked about the NFT thing, and if I remember correctly, Nas recently did something where he's uploading his music lyrics as some form of an NFT. Like, are you going to be moving towards that as well? Because you talked about NFT, so I just wanted to see.
I'll tell you this much. I only know so much. So
Hmm.
my job is to be around people like Dervin, and I'm assuming also people like you, Tony.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know everything about NFTs. I will say I'm past the beginner stage, but I'm like not at the intermediate stage yet.
Hmm.
Um, hopefully, or maybe not. I don't ever become at the highest expert at it, but I know who is. You know,
Hmm.
I know who is. I know who they are. And they're around me. They're my team, and
Hmm.
they work on that. They come up with the ideas. We talk about it together, and then we do what we do. But like I do not know everything about it. So whatever it
Got it.
is that that artist did, um, I, I read it. I read into it a bit. I'm not all the way, understanding of like does it work or if it doesn't work. But we're
Hmm.
gonna do what works for us.
So
Got it. All right,
with
cool,
what
man.
with what Nas did, and I thought this was interesting, but I also think it was an experiment. He essentially is allowing people to buy into his royalties with putting his own. like music out on a platform. I think the platform he did it on most recently was Royal, which is one he might have invested in also, which is essentially just trying to create a medium for music artists specifically to essentially like put out their content as an NFT or in the Web3 space or on the blockchain and kind of remove the middleman in terms of, an additional third party that might have ownership and things of those sorts. Think of it as a new way of monetizing your intellectual property or your content in some way. And there are a lot of different platforms exploring that in different ways. And I know uh, Luke hopped on Catalog and essentially, had open bids on his project. And that went well, and was able to get win it or close an auction with Ether. But I think with the music space as a whole, right, it's just the NFT crossover or the Web3 crossover. Yeah, I think it's going to give just like fans and listeners an opportunity on one hand to kind of like buy in to the journey of an artist. And on the other side of that, it gives the artist an opportunity to have complete ownership of what they're putting out and also being able to break off a piece of their journey to their fans in a unique way. And their fans, as a result, if done correctly, can essentially profit off of that too. So it's a new dynamic, I think, that's kind of like taking or going to take the industry by storm the way I guess art hopped on the NFT trend first.
Yeah, we have friends in the space that are doing well. You know, they're doing well, and we have some friends in the space that are doing very well. So we're around people that are doing this the right way because right now, it's literally like, what is NFT or what is Web3, blase, blase. It's the early stages, as we know, and everyone is
Hmm.
not for it. And this is how it usually goes. It's always full circle. So eventually this thing will be something massive, bigger than what it already is. And then everyone will be like, damn, I didn't get in early or whatever. And that is what it is. But this time around, I'm getting involved. This time around, I'm going to be a part of this so-called gold rush, even if it is in tech. And
Yep.
my guys and I have spoken about it, and we also understand like times are changing. You know, you got to move. You got to move with the environment to a sense, and
Do you think
the
that's like
different avenues. Yeah, go ahead.
do you think that's impacted the way that you've engaged with the labels that have reached out to you?
Slightly, slightly. Reason being is because we were always thinking the way that NFT essentially works, is how the music business should work. You feel me? The percentages don't really match up.
Hmm.
The artist usually ends up walking away with very little, but also the artist needs to be very cautious of what he's signing or she's signing or whomever is signing in the beginning because those words do matter. But seeing some of the offers that we've gotten in the past few years for VB or just essentially VB, it's wild. We have so many examples. The internet's here. My mentors have the reason they're my mentors is not only because they're great people, but they've also, you know, just given amazing game in regards to this space. And they'll tell you things, and you would think that years down the line that it would change, but it's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. So it's like you're preaching to the choir over and over again. But for us, we're kind of at a point where it's like, all right, if this is what it is, then we'll have to just do what we got to do, build leverage, get our name up, create a brand, execute this, properly. And that's what we're doing. So, but yeah, man, this NFT Web3, man, it's about freedom. It's about having the ability to just create and be able to really live. I think that's why we do what we do. Hopefully, whoever, is working and doing what it is that they like to do and they love doing it, you feel free doing it. And that's where we are, but we don't really feel free right now. So we're working towards that.
So I like something you talked about building a brand. So like let's backtrack a little bit. Tell me how the brand came about, why the name, what was the vision for the brand as you came up with the idea and inception, and what does it mean to you today from when it first
First
started?
off, you're gonna have Dervin, you're gonna have to tell Tony. You got to ask me one by one. The way that my
All right.
brain processes, that
All
was
right,
a
one by
lot.
one. One by one. That's
First
good. That's
question.
good enough. That's good enough. One by one
What was
then.
the first one?
We're lucky to
So,
have him on this call right now. He's already
so
like, this
the
already
first
happened.
question is, how did the brand come about? Like, how did the name come about?
Oh, the brand, the name. Oh man, I mean, it would be best for VB to tell you that honestly, but from the inception of it, well, the name itself, it came from Seinfeld. There was a Seinfeld episode. People can look it up, but it was like the scene was something about, I believe, Kramer and these guys called the Van Buren Boys. Um, but nonetheless, that's where one of the members in VB, Giles, came up with that using that name, and it was VB has always been a collective, and even before I came on board, it was actually way bigger than what it currently is. It's at 13 now, but I think at one point it was almost to like 20 something plus people, and it was just
Wow.
a collective of creatives. That's really what it was, and then eventually it became this business. Um, that's the whole name thing. And what was the next question?
So, when you guys thought about this becoming a business, like what did you guys envision of it being a business for the group and for other people that joined the group?
Okay, I like this because I'm about to really tell you. All right, this happened on accident, bro. This did
Mm-hmm.
not happen on purpose, bro. Like nobody woke up and was like, "Yo, I'm about to go sign this," you know, NWA mixed with Wu Tang with this charisma. It just really happened. No joke. I started working with one of the members, Felix. At the time, he was going by Lord Felix, and everywhere he went, it was just like 8 to 20. It was just always mad people around him, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, I'm always having to get mad people in to everything, and eventually, you hang around with them often enough, then you start to find out things like, oh, you make music. Oh, you make music. True story. I had no idea, St. Leor made music. I had no idea, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Invader, same thing. I did not know he made music. Hey, relax.
he,
Um,
he ain't know either.
that's my dog, Charlie. Um, so the whole inception of VB happening the way it happened is very like honestly it really just happened. Feel what is it was Meech, excuse me, not Meech, it was Lupars and Giles. They dropped a project called Two Sides. It's still on all platforms. You guys can go listen to it. It's amazing. To this day it will still rock. I'm telling you, man. They made things that were like we just did. Of course, the problem in the space is always not having enough eyes and ears on it until you do. But they made amazing bodies of work since like the moment I met them. They would like dropping content on their own before I met them, and that's why I was able to go in knowing that like, oh, they know how to market themselves. Oh, they know how to put their music on DSPs. Oh, they've already started the process. Let me come in and help out with what they're lacking, et cetera. So I yeah, the role is management, but I always just looked at it as them as being my partner. Like each of them are my partners.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot be managed. I'm telling you, like they can't be managed. I'm doing my best, but we got each other. We help each other. But I would say that we're all business partners, and we're killing it, man. Like, for us to be in certain rooms and places as black men, and we go in as we are and we leave as we are. I roll up in a hoodie, bro. I'm in black 24/7. It is what it is, and we're doing something way bigger than ourselves, way bigger than ourselves. And it's important that everyone just
Yeah,
is together.
I'd have to like emphasize that, when you say like doing something bigger than yourselves, because I felt that the first time I saw y'all live. The first time me personally, I saw y'all live was at House of Blues, Boston, and I think y'all might have opened up, and if not opened up, performed before Cousin Stiz. No disrespect to Cousin Stiz, I love his music. I know, a lot of people, especially out in Boston, love his music too. But y'all were way more lit than him, and y'all opened up and had House of Blues on tilt, and that's when I knew like the city, right, was behind y'all. Like, and me, I don't know all of BB personally, but I have a really good relationship with Meech, right? We've known each other for a couple years, and like seeing someone right, go from here to here, and move a group of people like that, like control a crowd like that, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And
It's
I
surreal,
just
right?
it's an insane feeling. Just like damn, like seeing him spit bars, the crowd, all of them could spit. None of them sound like anybody. They all sound like individually they have a unique sound to them, and I think that's really dope. And I just wanted to emphasize that the city is definitely behind y'all, Brock, and I say Boston. You know what I'm saying? And seeing y'all live, I felt that. I can't wait to see y'all live again. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm gonna be just as lit, if not more lit. Y'all
Man, I
probably
appreciate
ask me to
that.
turn it
I,
down.
I appreciate that heavy.
One thing I do want to add though is there's me as a proud Haitian, right? There's some Haitians in VB, and I just wanted to shout them out because right now what I'm sipping on is a Warriors drink in honor of them. A little bit
Uh,
of rum bottle coup.
Right
And
here, right on your chest.
uh-huh.
um, yeah, man. Shout out to the beautiful, islanders. The beautiful Haitian people. The beautiful Nigerians. The beautiful Trinidad and Tobago. You know,
don't forget Guyana.
Yes,
Guyana.
sir.
Everybody.
Everybody,
You know,
everybody.
we're for the people. VB's for the people. If you ever ask, who do we make music for? We make music for the people. Everybody. No
Mhm.
matter who you are, what your pronoun is, we make it for everybody.
That's dope.
So what form of music would you say that the group is known for, or um,
Quotables.
quotables? All right, cool.
Quotables, bro. Hooks. You know? What Dervin, give me a line.
Uh, yeah. Bitch, I done the
You
whoop
see what I'm
wop.
saying? I told you, I put him on the spot and he knew it. We did not talk about this because y'all did not give me any talking points for this. Y'all
Listen,
just
That's
said, come on here and say whatever. So I'm gonna talk my talk. But yeah, it's
I was gonna say that one too.
the music, man, the music. We bringing it back to the music. Enough of that Hollywood access, whatever Hollywood stuff, bro. Let's bring it back to the music. And it's the production is insane, man. I remember when we made. I'm gonna take it back to the most recent tape, Black Wall Street. That tape, we were in LA for that one, and it's always interesting how we made these trips happen. I always think about it sometimes. Anyways, we were in LA, and that's when we met Aziz, good man Aziz, and they made this body of work. And I remember the first time I heard um, Foxy Brown, Foxy
okay.
Brown, and it was who's it was just I was with Lior and I was with Luke that day, and I forget who else was with me. I think it was my partner Millie, and we went to Aziz's studio first. We were the first ones there, and then I just don't like people not using their time wisely. So productivity is very important to me. So I can't be in a studio with artists where there's no music being made. Like this defeats the purpose of us being here. So I said, "Yo, Aziz, let's make some shit shake." And Aziz put that beat on, and I think it was Lior that went first. I don't remember who went first. I think it was Lior that went first. And I said, "Yo, y'all should just go like just go head to head, just go back and forth." Because the thing of VV, it's like no, everyone thinks they're the best. Everyone thinks they're like the best. So I'm just
How you
like, yo,
push each
go
other.
compete. The thing about it is they just compete against themselves. Like, they don't even really compete against themselves per se. They're really competing against themselves. And then they already know that they're as good as they are. And then they'll, for in-house fun type thing, we compete against each other.
Yeah.
But that's how we don't even look at the industry. We don't even look at other cats like as competitors. To be quite frank, I'm just being honest, bro. There's some heavy hitters. I ain't gonna play it like there's not some folks out here making quality, amazing music. But when you're talking about in one centralized location, especially from a major music industry market, Brockton, Mass, they're killing it.
Yeah, man.
So
Definitely, absolutely.
yeah,
City only got
seeing
better.
how many people come to the shows, seeing how many people get off of me. This dog, yo. I'm doing an interview. All right. Um, what was
So
I
I know you were
saying?
just talking about music. So, and I have two questions. I'll give you one at a time because I remember. So the first question, whose idea was it to go into RV to like record music during the pandemic?
I think it might have been E. So, all right. So there's 13 dudes in Van Buren, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got 6 rappers, and I say rappers just for the sake of just, they're all artists, but 6 rappers and 4 producers, and we have 3 other members who don't make music, and one of those members is E, and
Mm-hmm.
E has this RV in the back, wasn't being used. It was a space enough that could make the music, but we're also like we have to be outside. Like there's certain things. Sometimes it's very difficult, especially during Corona, to just be at home all the time. You're not inspired. You're not this. You're not that. So we
Mm-hmm.
were finally able to go, or the guys were able to go and record anywhere that would, allow them to. And the only place that really did was the RV because it was ease. And we shot was it what song did we shoot there? It's one of Giles's songs. We shot in that RV. If you ever go on Giles's YouTube page, you'll see the video. I forget the name of the record. Was it Pudding? I think it was Pudding. Yeah, it was Pudding.
Okay.
With Lior. We shot it in the RV. I made a quick cameo. uh, but you just do what you gotta do. Like, we didn't know. I mean, none of us knew. And both of you included didn't know. We didn't know what was about to happen. We didn't know how long this was gonna be. And we could sit, and we could hope. We could sit and hope and work. That's what we could do, and that's what we did. So while the guys were doing that, and I think that was the. Let me run this back for you. We started making Bad for Press in December 2019. We went to New
Okay.
York, all of us, most of us, to go work on this project. And then I believe COVID happened, and then we would take trips. We would take trips to New York, and I believe we were taking one trip. I don't think it was actually December 2019. I think it was like either February or March of 2020, and we went to go do this body of work. We really didn't even know what we were making. We were just gonna go work on music as Van Buren. And then COVID happens, and like in the middle of the week, the studio's like, "Yo, you gotta go home." And so, it was a trip, short lived, but the guys did get some records out of there. But we went back, and then from there, we just witnessed the news telling us what it was telling us. So we had to fall back a little bit. But a few months after, I believe it was like May, and that was like, I think, February or early March. So in May, we were like, yo, we got to do something. Like, we can't just be inside doing nothing all the time. And what were we doing? I think we were like playing games on the phone, like literally playing the Uno on the games for the iPhone. That's where we were. And I'm like, what are we doing? I mean, granted, it was low key fun, but we decided to get back and work. And we dropped Mo in the Benz. We shot a video for that, and then it was just from there. We've been on a roll since, bro. We haven't stopped since. We haven't stopped really in a minute, bro.
That's crazy.
So
Um,
yeah.
so
Let me talk about
this
something. Let me talk about
yeah, go, go,
how
go.
we made like the Baffa Press, bro. Baffa Press was one of the coolest things ever, right? Let me tell you why. Because we just knew everyone inside of the studio knew that we were
Mm-hmm.
witnessing like something like historical. This is when you see, you know, Kobe go for 81 or 80 or whatever how much he went for, or you see, you know, uh, uh I want to go a different lane. You see somebody that's working their butt off for years on something, and then they're able to accomplish it essentially, and they're really talented. They're really great at it, and you know they're the best at it. We
Mm-hmm.
were in that. We were at Audio Mac, bro. Shout out to Audio Mac. Shout out to our good peoples over there, and
Yeah.
they were just like haymakers in that studio. The mic, it was just you just put a beat on. It's the most beautiful thing ever. It's like going to a symphony with rappers,
And
and
did you,
they're just making hit after hit after hit. Girls just want to have fun, looking for trouble. There's records that didn't make the tape, and that's the wild part about it.
How many did make the tape? If you could like rough number.
Oh man, I'm trying to picture the whiteboard. We had this whiteboard, and we were writing this down. We had about like, I think we had close to 35 songs.
Damn. So
down to
how many hours
13?
y'all put in to get that many songs, bro? How many hours?
A lot,
Damn, that's
a
crazy.
lot. Ain't no number, bro. I think that's the thing that we
Damn.
do in society. We be putting numbers on things. Sometimes, like, yo, just keep going. Don't even think about, because when you get there, it's gonna be like you kind of forget at times too. Like I'll be like, oh, we did that.
True.
So, yeah, it took a minute, bro. It took a minute, and Baffa Press was that's our life's work, man. That's not just music, you know. We the
Uh,
boys said something, man.
Listen, man, I loved Bad for Press, loved Black Wall Street. What got me like really excited was the video y'all put out for Medic. That video,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? That video,
Shout out to Rams.
you know
Shout
what I'm
out to
saying?
Rams. Shout out to all of my videographers, Damien,
So
Rico,
I know a lot of
Colin,
I
Yaz.
I know a lot of people that could rap. Like I know a lot of people that could get in the studio and make some fire. Some people,
Me
however,
too.
might not be the I know. Some people though, like in my opinion, right? They have how do I put it? A marketing roadblock. Like they might not be marketable per se. And that's important
Yeah.
in our industry. Maybe I'm wrong, right? But
No, you right.
after seeing that video, I was just like, damn, like every single one of them in my opinion, in VB is marketable. Like,
All
yeah,
right, so let's
all
talk about that.
mhm.
You talking my language. You know what I'm about. You know I love marketing. Business is my acumen, and I just go hard in it. But um, Medic is a funny story about that one. But I want to say just overall with our videos, shout out to all our videographers that work with us, man. And I mean they really work with us. You know, that's a story for another day to the level of just, you know, I they know what they mean to me for real because they've educated me and I've educated them vice versa in terms of business, and they teach me mad things about the lenses and angles, and
Mhm.
I'm big into into creativity in all assets of art. So when I got the video from Rams sent the Dropbox. I love Rams. You know, shout out to Rams by the way. Rams hit me by the way. Uh, we I got the video, I got the Dropbox link, and it's just super long password. I'm like, anyways, copy. You can't copy paste. I don't think I could copy and paste this. I had to like write it out, and I'm at the airport. I'm always at an airport. I believe in Charlotte, I think I was, and I get the video. True story. This was like I felt like Will Smith in The Pursuit of Happiness when he's like in the under t-shirt, and he gets the job and he's just like outside, just like yes.
Yeah.
The reason why I felt this way was because I was in the middle of the airport at my gate, about to go fly to Boston for this Bad for Press release party and Bad for Press drop in general,
Which is a great
and
tribute.
and I get this video. So no, I think this was like a Tuesday night, and I'm about to go into or Tuesday or Wednesday night it was. project drops on Friday, party on Saturday. So video for Medic. All right, this is what I'm looking at. I get the video, and I'm literally like I'm just in shock how great it is, because the version that everyone saw was the first version he ever sent. And I've never worked with anyone where it's like, I mean, I ain't gonna hold you. We gotta edit, we gotta work. There's a lot of
Yeah,
things, and
That's
I know how
perfect.
it
A
is.
perfect shoot. That's great.
yo, bullseye with it for real. And
That's a rare occurrence.
he sent it over to Gang. Gang loved it. You know, we talked about some things, and then we went about it. And the rollout for that one, the reason why it's like there wasn't a rollout for Medic Video, because we were pushing the album, we were pushing so much different things, and the album drops. We have a group chat. We're texting back and forth, and we're talking about this Medic Video. We're like, yo, when are we dropping this? Like, it was like an all day, all night conversation. And I'm not gonna say who, but one of the members in VB just went and just dropped it. And what I mean by dropped it, he posted it. He posted it and said, yo, link is up on YouTube. Here's the clip. And then it just did what it did. Medic, when I saw Medic, it was just like, wow.
And
To this day, it's still wow.
yeah,
That's one of those videos, bro, especially as an independent act as we are, and how we're maneuvering ourselves in this space. It's like, yo, we could really go toe to toe. We could really do this.
So
Because we watch these videos, we see what these other
right
videos
now.
are doing. They're doing it at the same little diner in LA. We know about them green screens. They do it at the same tennis court. Like, nothing is original with other acts. And if people feel some type of way, if the shoe fits, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, it's just like, if we're gonna be about the arts, let's be about the arts, and let's really like do this. And you know, being a creative means you got to push those boundaries with whatever budget you got, Because people be like, oh, money. Well, okay. You know, that's like everybody's problem. That's a universal problem, money. So you're not saying anything new, and people put that on themselves. Like, excuses, I don't rock with that at all. You know, the sayings that I live by: excuses are tools of the incompetent. You know, that's one of them, for real. People will, you know, couldn't this, I couldn't that. You know, sometimes you're gonna have to tweak something. Maybe sometimes you can't necessarily do exactly what you thought you could, but you could do something. So, like I said, I go off on tangents, bro. Yeah, I asked to do this interview.
No.
I mean, this is what we like, man. We like stories. We want to hear stories. That's great. But I want to hear who's like the first person when you go to like the recording studio that always jumps in the mic first, is always ready to give you 8 bars. Like, who's that person in the group?
It's okay. So that's a great question, and this is how I'm gonna answer it. It's different every time. It isn't like just one person. They turn on a beat, and then they're all listening to it, and one of them will be like, "Yo, I'm gonna do the hook." Other one will be like, "Yo, I'm gonna do the first line." "Yo, I'm gonna go after you, Giles. I'm gonna go last." It's actually not hard. It's actually they're sandbox
That's
friends.
good, bro.
They're
It's collaborative.
sandbox friends. They've known each other for a very long time. Some of them are related. Some of them used to slap box. Some, like, they put it in the music. You know, all your questions can be answered on Baffled Press and Black Wall Street. Out now, out forever. And the reality of this is that it's easy to work with people that want to work with each other. It's rare. It's really rare. But I've worked in spaces where people didn't like each other. You know, people hated each other. It's the first time ever that I'm working with people that genuinely they rock with each other. So
It's a lot of dudes, a lot of personalities, a lot of talent. Definitely commend you for.
I'll tell you, I appreciate that. I appreciate
that. Phil Jackson.
Nah, man, I'm Cheed. That's who I am. And I'll tell you this much, right? The team is nothing without the women surrounding the team, bro. Millie, that's right here. You know, that's important. Nia, important. Rico, important. You know, these women have really been with us, rock with us. My mother. There's amazing people pushing us. to get to levels that that we need to go. And it's really a community effort. That's one of the things that I really love about that. Going back to what we talked about with NFTs and Web3 is that like it's community driven, and we really community driven, bro. Like this is really community driven,
Yeah.
you know. So, um,
One thing I want to
yeah,
ask is, with the success that you guys have seen now, the traction that you've gotten, the interest, the engagement from fans, like if you could go back in time to say, like, I guess a few days after your first show, like what would you do differently, right? Moving forward from there with what you've learned and experienced now. Is there
like
anything
our
you
first show
would change?
ever.
Yeah. Like, is there anything you wish
Oh
you
yeah.
changed?
Um, I don't believe in change. Yeah, actually, yeah. Like the personal me, like hell yeah, I want to go tweak some things that I felt like could have been. To this day, I still think about certain things that like the smallest of things. So
Mhm.
yeah, for me, yes, yes. But the reality of things was the show went the way it went, and we have that to go off for you know our portfolio. We see how we do, and we work on it, and we do better. And that's been a consistent thing with everyone's career as well. I was just on this tour with Lior. He was opening up for Bryce Vine in a couple different cities, and where we started in Maryland, went to Philly, and then 2 stops in New York, and we ended it in Boston. And from him, he hadn't performed in a while, especially by himself now. This is a St. Lior tour to an extent. And from Maryland to seeing him perform, I remember in New York and then in Boston, bro, completely, you see they listen because, oh, we're not here to just watch you. We've heard these songs, we've seen you perform.
Hmm.
We know who you are. We're your team. And for anyone that's building a team, there has to be people need to be able to feel comfortable speaking to each other. This ain't no yes man type of situation. People ain't gonna feel fearful if they don't speak up. I mean, if they speak up, they'll be whatever. Never that. We all collectively work together. And for us, from videographer to co-managers to DJ to best friend, yo, Lior, I don't think you should be doing that. Yo, Lior, you got to do this a little bit more. Yo, it was just, tidbits here. Bro, by New York, dude was looking like a superstar. I didn't have nothing to tell him. If you could shut me up, then I'll fall back, you know? So he did what he had to do. And that's the same thing for all of us, including myself. You got to tweak yourself. There's certain things you have to, I think self-analyzation is a very important thing. You know, we got these phones and we upgrade them to be better. Why are we not upgrading ourselves to be better? You feel me? So I think mindset is important for us and how we maneuver ourselves, because it's like, yo, am I gonna have an ego and be like, how dare he or she tell me what to do with my performance? I'm the one performing. Well, you feel me? But it's not like that. It's keep your egos at the door before you walk in the crib.
Very constructive environment, it sounds like.
Very, very constructive environment, and it's a fun environment.
You may not be able to speak for everyone on the team, but I guess like just for you, right? Like, who would you say was a dream feature? Like someone you'd absolutely love for VB to work with and put something out with.
I'm not gonna answer that, man. What are you doing? That's for the guys to answer, man. Listen, man. I know.
But you though, there's got to be
Me,
someone that you might feel like I think like them on a track.
honestly, bro. It's for me. It's we talk about music all the time. We talk
Uh-huh.
about business all the time, and it's the greats, man. Just the greats, and that's it. The greats. We wanna have conversations with the greats. We'll take dinners with the greats. If you get my drift.
Over the
Um,
500K.
Listen, I said we'll take dinners with the greats, whoever the greats may be. All of them. We'll take all of them.
Ah, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Listen,
Oh
man.
man.
But yeah, it's interesting that you say that because my role as management. I don't really look at it like I look at it in a certain lens. Like I guess if you're a coach, you're looking at other coaches as inspiration and stuff like that. And if you're an artist, you're looking at artists. Well, you know, in my position as manager, I'm looking at other managers, and I'm very, very, very fortunate to be around some of the future killers of this business, man. And also to be taught and mentored by some incredible people, man. Man,
Yeah, that's the
the
point.
story is
So
writing itself out so beautiful, bro. So beautiful. The people that I'm connecting with, man, everybody that I've met, learned from, you know, even if we don't talk on a regular, they've inspired me. And I'm just been like, yo, there's more people that are, you know, like minded. There's more people that are hustling and busting, because I ain't really grow up around that too much outside of, you know, really my mother. But seeing like people really do it, it's like, oh, thank goodness that I don't got to put the whole world on my back type thing. You know, there's more people doing other things for their community and for their
Mhm.
people and for themselves. But yeah.
So I know you talk about the mentorship. So like if you were to like spit some knowledge for people that are trying to come into the industry doing something similar to yourself, like what were some things you'd advise them to do versus not do?
Oh, I got one. Simple. Thug it out. That's the biggest one. Thug it out.
Mhm.
And man, I remember when I used to get that text from that specific person, I used to low key be a little tight, because I'm like, I'm doing that. I've been doing that. But it don't matter, because you got to keep going. Ain't no time to
Mhm.
really sit and bask in a shoulda, coulda, woulda. You just got to keep going. And that's what it taught me. Really, it taught me to keep going. That's my biggest advice to anybody, really. Forget the music stuff, man.
So when you say thug it out, just to unpack that a little bit, what do you mean? You mean, you know,
Unpacking that is, you know, doing what's necessary, doing what's needed to get to where you want to go in life, you know?
mm,
Most of us are not, most of us don't come from a silver spoon. Most of us, you know, aren't being handed things. You know, there's some that do. That's why I say most of us don't. But I'm speaking to most of us. And you gotta just like, bro, I'm not gonna hold nobody. Like, if you thinking that you about to win this lotto, or you thinking that like, what is it? Clearinghouse is gonna come bring you a big old check and say you won. It ain't happening. You gotta actually work. You're gonna have to put your
Yeah.
dues in, and that was one of the biggest advice my mother ever gave me, was put your dues in. And I'm very happy she told me that, because there was so many times where I thought like my dues are up. No, it's not up. You still gotta keep going, and that's what thug it out means. Thug it out is this idea, this ability to go up another level, because in life it's really like you're seeing and you're experiencing things at a certain point and level in your life.
yeah,
And sometimes you may think that you've seen it, but there's more. And there's just more.
mhm.
So you
Mm,
just don't know. But if you stop, you'll never know. So
gotcha.
we keep going. So like advice, really, like my advice is very like broad to an extent, but it's like really just to keep going. Um,
So another
yeah.
question is that, this is more of an industry question. I feel like in the past, like owning your masters wasn't really a big thing that people were pushing for, but I felt within the last couple of years, it's always about owning your masters, owning your intellectual property. Like, what was the big shift in the industry? Was it streaming, or what kind of changed?
People started looking at the paperwork. People just started looking at the paperwork like, wait a minute, hold on. This artist that's been doing this longer than I have is broke? Or this it's like the information is out there to be read and to know, man. Like, it's important to read the paperwork.
Yeah.
And
Mm,
Oh man, that
unfortunately, a lot of artists, I hope it's not a lot actually. We we sometimes think that it's what is constantly pushed on us is the majority, when in reality it's not necessarily. Um, so for the artists that, you know, did go broke, or just having financial troubles because of deals that they were in, etc., that was enough, I think, for artists to wake up, because it started becoming more public, and there started there started to get more publications written about, you know, that per se. You
mhm.
know, it's hard for people to know that this is going on if it's not necessarily like written about or publicized about. Sometimes you may think you're the only one going through something.
Mm,
So then you find out, oh, there's more people going through something. the similar as me. So once artists started seeing other artists, fall from grace or whatever it may be, they started to wake up. And, we had acts to this day that are pushing a strong independent narrative. So it's simple. This conversation shouldn't really even be had, if we're being honest, about if artists should own this or own. They made it. Like, what are we really talking about here? You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? If I make this pizza, I made the pizza.
Hmm.
I'm gonna dish it out and I'm gonna give a piece of a slice to whomever. But I made the pizza. So how I look at it is just that, like, let me just get that pizza right quick, and I'm gonna tell people, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna dish it out a certain way. Like, what is going on, man? But it's these contracts, man. And I will say, one thing that I learned about being in this space, you got to speak up for yourself. You gotta let people know, like, yo, this is not a good deal. You gotta let others know too, and you know your worth, know your value.
Hmm.
You know, we came out the gate with numbers in mind of if we were going to do a deal, or et cetera, et cetera. And A&Rs would talk to us, and we would tell them, and they would be like, I know they were like, this, they nuts. We're not crazy. We're not crazy, because we're
Yeah.
going to get that number eventually. So with or
Yep.
without you. And it's important to really own what you make. It is important to own what you make, man. And
Gotcha.
you trying to feed a bunch of people that don't even listen to rap music, or you trying to feed your team? What is it?
I feel you.
So, yeah,
So my follow-up industry question will be is I hear a lot of time with these deals, they give you a big lump sum up front, and then
advance.
people have an advance, and then people have like 3, 4 years, they put out 5, 10 records or albums, and they don't see no more money. So like, how does that really work out? Should you take the upfront advance? Should you not? Like, advice from that perspective.
Okay. Um, I won't ever tell anyone what they should do specifically around the context of this conversation, because I don't know what someone's going through. You
Mm-hmm.
know, yeah. So there's that. In regards to, you got to pay the money back. That's really what it is. Like, you take that money. If it's a lot of money, then you got to pay a lot of money back. Um, I think we look at things and we try to overcomplicate them and put them with these big words and all this lawyer jargon. It's simple. You take this upfront money, you can have it, do what you need to do with it, but please understand that you're gonna have to deliver these, projects for us. And if you don't make it back on this first one, I'm gonna need you to. I'm gonna pick up another option for you to give me back my money. And if you don't in the second, third, and if you don't, and it just keeps going and going and going. So, um,
Gotcha.
like, you got to know what you're getting yourself into. But again, I'm not going to tell anyone that they should or shouldn't. You
Mm-hmm.
have to know your business. You have to know your situation. Everyone's lives is different. So, yeah.
All right, cool.
And with all this, Web3 tech that we spoke about earlier, it seems that people are, or at least maybe not. Let me not say people are. I would at least think my outside or like external observation of the industry is that there seems over time to have developed this complex of taking kind of how do I explain predator complex, taking advantage of some artists who just might not be aware of how the industry works. And that's to another point why the support system and mentorship around you is important. But I think with Web3 in particular, NFTs and like it's proof of authenticity or authentication or ownership method seems to be like an out for folks potentially, right? Like I think folks are trying to get around the unnecessary contract discussions or negotiations or distribution deals that might be lopsided and things of those sorts. Are concerned about just overall owning their intellectual property. And I mean, I guess the question that I'm trying to ask is, if there was an opportunity for you guys to get everything that you needed on some type of smart contract that you deploy on Web3, or as someone deployed and funded for you, right? Like uh, with all the uncertainties in the tech right now being so early, would you like take that risk, you think, or like would you prefer distribution? Like, I guess, what is the ideal deal? You know, like, what would that look like? Right? Can you even answer that question? I don't know.
If we could get everything we needed, you know, in the Web3 NFT space, why would we sign? You feel me? Why would we? The question is, all you have to ask yourself is, why are you signing? Because if
Mhm.
it's money, and then you could go make whatever, a plethora of money in the NFT Web3 space, why would I go sign? And if you're speaking, especially in regards to us, we could do this on our own, no joke. We really could. Like, if we could do this through Web3 NFT, what? I would probably, I don't think I would, you'd have to literally bring a bunch of Brinks truck for me to talk to a label if we could do everything we needed to do in the NFT Web3 space. I'm so serious because we already doing everything we need to do in the current space that we're in. We
Mhm.
know our business. We know what we're doing. You know, this to us is trial and error. We've fallen so many times, and we get back up every single time. And there's so many of us around us. The team has grown. Management has grown. You know, the artistry has grown, and it's just not to the overall masses. And it is what it is. But we know what's going on. So if we could do this in that space, and it could fuel us for however long however we could do it. Oh, peace. You know, I'm not saying that we won't, talk, probably discuss some things, how we could do some things together, exclusive licensing type things. You know, you could never, don't leave chicken on the table now. So yeah, but we're doing what we have to do. People be thinking like, I'll tell you this much. We've been independent since day one, and we've done distro deals. We've done 2 separate ones. I will tell artists too. That's an advice I would give you guys. I don't think distros will want me to tell y'all, but I'm gonna tell y'all anyway. Is don't get married too soon. Go ahead and date a little bit. You know, go ahead and date a little bit. And I'm referencing being in this business. You know, don't be too quick to go sign these long, extended, however many options deals for your first deal. That's insane. Like you don't know the people that work there like that. You know, get your feet wet, try it out. If it works, great. If it doesn't, you can leave.
Mhm.
So we did it with 2 different distribution companies, and we're free agents right now. We don't, right now we're just. I don't even want to say we're waiting for the right thing because we're going to work and it's going to work itself out. But as we continue to work and we have the discussions with all options, um, you know, we're independent, man. We're independent not because we want to be, it's because we need to. We have to be. Like we're not about to get no silly terms. You want to hear some silly terms? We had this one. Look at y'all. I'm so happy. I'm about to tell y'all this.
Spill the
Let's go.
beans.
We about to get some beans.
Yo, they ready for the tea. Um, we had this label send this offer. I love bringing it up. It was, I'm not about to tell you who, and I'm not about to tell you for how much, but it was under 6 figures. They wanted a VB project. I think it was like 7 tracks, up to 7 tracks. Like the minimum, excuse me, was like 7 tracks. And what has me laughing to this day is they wanted to do I believe it was a 20-year license on that record. You hear me? 20 years. They wanted a
Damn.
license on it. And they wanted a 18-month holdback period. So for those that don't know what a holdback period is, I highly suggest you Google it. And it's so funny. Usually what comes up is from a website. I always laugh about it. But anyways, um, that holdback period essentially is like you have to get permission from the distribution for you to drop whatever else after that body of work. So technically, they could tell you no if they wanted to. They could tell you, no, we don't want you to drop until after the 18 months because it's supposed to be the promotion for the duration. Like we're going to spend 18 months They're not spending 18 months promoting that. But the reality of it is that they have these terms. And I remember we were going through options for our second distro, and we were waiting on offers, and that was one of the offer, and we all laughed. You know, you have to understand too. We are the people around Van Buren Records consist of people that have either been in the business or still is in the business, from being executive assistants to, you know, handling certain things for very, very high level people. We get how the business goes. It's funny because the what is it? The coffee boy or girl grows up eventually, and they end up learning so much things. And I will say, we paid our dues. We had the roles that allowed us to even understand and know this, because this isn't just information that everyone knows. I mean, you can, because it's all public knowledge on the internet, but the reality of it is we took time to understand it, enter into the space, work in the space. And I applied to every label, distro ever, never got hired. And the first distro we ever did anything with was the last distro I ever sent a resume for. So they ended up working for me.
That's way better, man. That's way better.
How the
It's way
tables
better.
turn.
They know now.
So, what is like a venue that you'd love to have your team like perform at?
Oh man, yo, you asking some good questions, bro. I don't do this, and I think interviewers be asking questions that I definitely can tell that they didn't watch the previous interview that the person just did, because you just ask them the same thing. So that's why we hold back on doing interviews. No joke. Like, if you go see, we don't really have them. We don't have any interviews, honestly, like that. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait for that.
I might, wait for me to ask.
Yo, what was the question?
What venue? What venue would you like for your team to perform at?
Oh man, what venue? Crypto.com.
Oh, I love it. That's a good venue. That's a good venue.
I don't know if y'all peeped what I did there, but yeah.
My head. I thought you were going to say the Garden for a second, but then I was like, oh, that was definitely a way clever pitch. Hopefully someone hears that over at Crypto. Get you over there in LA.
All right. And my follow-up question to that, Dervin and I we did a trip to Africa a few years ago. And we felt when we landed there, like we felt the energy of Mother Earth come through us in South Africa. So if you had to pick a place in Africa that you and your team could perform at, where would that be?
You said a place in Africa?
Mm-hmm.
We gotta go to Nigeria. We gotta go to Nigeria. That's where my boy Etanosa Okunba is from. St. Leor, Mr. Leor, Biko, E.T. He goes by several different names. It's important, that we know each other's families. We eat at each other's homes. Some of us have relatives in different cities. So, when we down in Miami, we visit my grand folks type thing. And shoot, I ain't never been to Nigeria. I'd love to see where my man's peoples lives.
I heard it's lit, bro. I heard it's lit.
I'm trying to find out. So in due timing, we're gonna make our journey out over there, either solo or together. We gotta touch the land over there.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
An Africa performance for VB, a Caribbean tour, right?
Yes, you guys are in Caribbean too.
I'm with it.
You guys have, you just never know. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm pretty confident there's a few folks, especially from my international trips and journeys, that are playing VB music now already, right? So
listen, man.
Matter of time.
Get the whales involved. Get the community involved. Let's get them involved with Van Buren. We're about to be dropping heavier on the Web3 space, the NFT space. And yeah, go ahead.
When can we expect, new project work, new music, new videos? Like, are you guys like, dialing it back for something big you're about to drop, or there's a bunch of stuff in the works that are just going to be coming out individually for folks? Or I guess like what can
Dervin,
the fans
Dervin,
expect?
you've known me enough. You think I'm really about to answer that? And I'm not telling
No,
you. I'm not telling you.
but
Because at
what
the same time, look, listen. It's like this. And I gotta be honest about this. Everything we do is it's a part of something that we're building. So it would definitely take away the mystique and the cherry on top, to say the least. If I told you what we was about to do, I would not do that. So you would have to see what we do.
the amateur journalist in me has to ask. You know what I mean? Just for my
Of
own.
course. And I'm gonna answer. Yeah.
Oh man, but
But we always working. We're always working.
uh, I know you've already dropped advice for our listeners who might be looking to get into your space in particular. Talking about thugging it out and pushing through. One thing we try to ask all of our guests is, when you're working on your method of making impact, and how do you essentially block out the noise? How do you stay focused on the goal at hand? Block out the negativity, because you're in the music industry, and that's part of it. There's negativity, there's scrutiny, there's shit talking, there's haters. You know what I'm saying? The support as well. Like, how do you navigate through all of that? Separate, I guess, what's the substance from the BS, and stay focused on your goal.
Man, that's a great one. Um, well, I'm a start from where you ended and move backwards. The BS is always going to be there. You deal with a lot of, there's people I've been talking to for years, and I'm still waiting on the deal that I was supposed to get last Sunday, and nothing. You come to find out that words mean little to people, and that's not how I was brought up. Words mean a lot. So if you're gonna say something, you better deliver, because if you don't, and it's very like whatever it is that you're saying and you're not delivering on, and someone's waiting, and they make plans based on what you tell them and things like that, and then you let them down. I don't like false hope. So if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do something. But I don't think people think that way in that space, in the entertainment space specifically, man. People get comfortable. People move slow. It's. I will say certain rumors that you hear about, like it being, you got to watch it back type thing. Yeah, it happens. It exists. I'm not gonna hold you. It exists. So there's that. And then you asked me something along the lines of, help me out, Dervin.
Block. It's essentially how are you
Oh,
staying focused
yeah.
on your goal at hand and blocking out any distractions.
So, okay. So I'm gonna tell you, um, I'm going back into doing things that I love to do. I love to play pool. I love to beat my friends at pool. And
There we go.
What's mad funny?
No,
Dervin always talks like he's so good, and I've seen him get his ass whooped so many
no,
times.
but
Mad
Dervin's
funny.
nice. Dervin's nice.
You know what's funny,
Dervin's
Tony?
nice.
Now we gotta go play pool so I can take your money.
Listen,
Yeah, I took the L with she, but she knows what's up. Tony trying to play me on here. I'm not even
when I'm in
gonna
different cities,
defend my honor, baby. I'll see you on the table.
when I'm in different cities, I'll find a pool hall. I'll go with the gang if they want to go. If they don't, I go by myself. I'm one of them go to restaurants by themselves and eat by themselves person. Like I
That's me
really
too.
don't care.
That's me
I
too.
actually prefer it that way.
Do you go to the movies by yourself too?
I've done that. I've
I
always
can't do
done
that.
that, but I don't
I
do
like
it
doing that.
anymore. I don't do it anymore because these movies that are coming out are whack. Like movies that are coming to theaters are whack, in my opinion.
I'm about to go
So,
see Batman by myself tomorrow. Can't wait. I'm hoping that thing is
man,
fire.
Shit,
So
I'm a
let's see.
I actually got 2 tickets to see Batman. I bought two because I wanted to go with a lady friend, but it's probably not going to work out at this time. But I also wanted the NFTs that they're giving out. So they're giving out NFTs if you bought during like a trial period. So listen, man, if
Oh
I've got a
wow.
date tomorrow to go see Batman, I'm gonna hit you up. You can be my date, Tony.
All right, yeah, hit me up. I'm down.
But yeah, man.
So you said the whole blocking out thing, right?
Yes, sir.
It's man, like we've been doing this for some years now, man. We done when year becomes plural, it's like, yo, you still doing it. Um, you get to a place where sometimes it's like sometimes you don't want to do it. Sometimes you don't want to do it anymore. But you see all the things that you've done, seeing all the things that you've built, seeing that there's just so much more work ahead, whatever work that it may be, but you've done so much from where you started. You are way farther than where you started. And to just quit and give up, that ain't it. So we just want to remain tunnel vision, man. It's just really, the reality of it is that, like I had said earlier, this is, I have my whys of why I do this, you know. They all have their whys, and our whys push us because this isn't easy. But we do what's necessary. But remaining, like, I think nowadays everyone hears this conversation. I think sometimes people are like, oh, this is just like a good point to make in every interview. But I want to talk about mental health. I do think that having people to speak with is extremely important. Not everyone will understand the space. Not everyone will understand the space that you're in. So when you can meet people that are, they I'll tell you this much: you got to talk to somebody. You got to talk to somebody, myself included. I typical story, very hard to share, but emotions, etc. But the reality of it is you have to share. I'm very fortunate to have some people, not some, I have a village of people, but I have these core group of individuals that, they reach out to me. We speak on the regular. I don't really have the time to go walk into a therapy session type thing, but I have a core group of people that I speak with on a regular that, they ask me how I'm doing, bro. That means a lot to me, and we actually have convo. And having someone, well, even if it's one person, like, you need someone. So I've heard people talk about, like, like, I'm gonna be by myself forever, and what? Like, yo, what are you
Yeah,
talking about?
I get you,
So
man. 100%
yeah,
agree.
man, mental health is very important for everybody. It ain't just for artists; it's for everybody. Like,
Absolutely.
what? I'm telling you, man, this
You know,
thing is like,
in the pandemic, I believe the past year there was a 33% increase in suicides. And this past couple of 6 months or so, a large percentage of that has actually been black men, statistically.
I read that article, bro. I read it.
And I'm
It's
really
sad, man.
appreciative. I'm really appreciative of you mentioning the importance of mental health and having that support system and how much you value that. Um, I'm very appreciative of that. I just, know some folks who've been through things. I myself have been
Yeah,
through things. Tony, I'm sure you've been through things, and we could all agree
Yep.
the support system goes a long way. And not even just having someone to talk to, having someone as simple as just listen. You know what I'm saying? It goes a long way. So, like, for any of our audience out there, our listeners right now, you're following us on social media, things of those sorts. You're going through something. I can't speak for these guys, but if you reach out to me, I might not have relevant advice, but absolutely will listen. And feel
Yeah.
free to reach out at any time.
I will
Yeah.
definitely say at one point in time, I was like too cool for school with the whole mental thing. I used to just be like, hey, everybody faking it, blase, blase. Nah, man. Nah,
Yeah.
this is not a joke. This is not a game. You got
Can't
to take
fake.
Yeah.
care of your
Can't
mental
fake depression.
Yeah.
because
True.
Can fake being
because
happy
at
though.
the end of the day, because at the end of the day, like, you are the person in the mirror. You feel me? Don't
Hmm.
lie to yourself.
Yeah.
So my whole thing on it is I live a very interesting life in the way that I'm always on the go. And living in the moment has been one of the most difficult things that I've had to do. Because when you live in the moment, you have to sit and you have to think and you have to reflect.
Hmm.
And that requires time. And that's time that you have to give to yourself But when you're always giving it to other people, you're like, I'll focus on me last. Can't do that, because you
Yeah.
can't be productive with those other folks if you aren't working on yourself. That's what I mentioned earlier about, like, yo, we gotta tweak ourselves. We gotta update ourselves.
Yeah.
And I hung around with one of my buddies recently, and he's like in a rec league. Like they play volleyball and stuff. And I ain't gonna hold you, when I would be, I'm always in an Uber or Lyft, but as I would be passing by certain spots in like different cities, whether it be Chicago or Boston, wherever, I just see people like playing like either soccer or basketball. They got
Hmm.
and I think that's amazing. Take time to do things that you love. Take time to do, like we talked about the pool. I like pool. I go play
Yeah.
pool. I mean, for me, I like the water. I'm always around the water some way, somehow. I'm gonna go for a walk type thing.
Yeah.
I'm a big foodie. I love food. Um,
But
do
what
you
I think is
think?
also super
Yeah.
important too is like every once in a while, is call somebody and say like, "Hey man, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Like you're super supportive. Like I love you." Like I remember doing that to a couple of my friends, just giving them a call because they know I appreciate them, but I don't always say that directly to them to know it is coming from me directly. My actions kind of show it. But every once in a while, just call someone and say you appreciate them, you love them. That could be the difference between them doing something really bad and feeling like they're wanted and appreciated on Earth. So just make sure you just tell people that every once in a while.
I'm
I
gonna
need to
say
do
this, and
more of
this is
that.
very, very, very important. This has to be. It can't be one sided. I want to say shout out to Charlia. She is an amazing friend to me. She also manages Vintage Lee, and she's an amazing businesswoman. She just does a bunch. And I remember she was just giving me sound advice on like things that I could do for myself. And that was like one of the first time somebody in the space, was not asking me about when we're dropping the next body of work.
Mhm.
Hmm.
You feel me? The conversations have become very just this lately in my life, which is just music, 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 or, something, hey, can you get my friends in the club or whatever?
Mhm.
And I mean, it comes with the territory. I mean, it is what it is. We do what we can. I'm not complaining about it at all. It's more so just saying, to the fact of the matter is, like, if you have someone that is, taking the time out of their day to call you, you also have to reciprocate that another time as well. It can't just
Yeah.
be one sided. And that's the type of person that I am. If it's always going to be me doing everything, and then it's just pretty much 90-10, anything other, it has to be 50-50. Like everything has to be 50-50. I gotta turn the lights on for y'all. Give me one sec.
My man is sitting outside. He said, "Turn the lights on." I'm confused. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Back deck light. I thought this man was about to put up an artificial sun like China or something. Have you seen that video, Tony?
The artificial, nah.
You gotta check that out. Something ain't adding up.
I gotta check it out then.
Something ain't adding up. But for our listeners not tuning in, podcast audio direct, just a quick little intermission here while she gets his light back on. Sorry about that.
So Dervin, if I was to listen to, I'll be honest, I haven't listened to any of their music yet. But if I was to go listen to one of their music, which song should I listen to? I know which video I'm gonna watch, but what song should I like kick off my introduction to the group?
I would say that you should absolutely listen to Cult. All right, Cult
Cool.
is a
All
dope
right.
song. The video for Cult is also really dope as well. I would also recommend another song by Meech. And Meech is just, Meech is someone, I know personally, out of the group know for a really long time. I like a lot of his music. But like Van Buren as a whole, like you can't go wrong checking out the Cult video. Can't go wrong checking out the Medic video. You know what I'm saying? They just got a lot of heat. Lil Haiti, shout out to my ICN. definitely tap in and watch that video as well. But my man
All
Meats, man,
right.
you want to hear some music from Meats that I really love. Pray, Lost Innocence. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes pain could be a drug too. All parts. You know what I'm saying? A lot of fire. And from there,
All right.
going through
Cool.
that Van Buren catalog, you'll probably take a liking to everything in here, to be honest.
BurenRecords.com for all your questions.
All right.
Repeat that. Repeat that. Was it VanBurenRecords.com? You were just on
Van
mute for a
Buren
second.
Records, VanBurenRecords.com for all your
Awesome.
questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, excuse me, all your answers can be questioned. All your questions can be answered. Yo, make sure y'all edit that. Don't got me sound like a fool. So I'm gonna say it again.
we,
VanBurenRecords.com.
we updated live, so they could feel the vibes.
What? It's live?
It's not live.
Is this really live? Oh.
I'm playing with you.
So I'm gonna do it again. VanBurenRecords.com. Get all your questions answered.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Yes, sir.